run the code.
One second, Nabed. I'm going to answer your question. I have started recording. Let me explain this first. I'll be answering all your questions. So here, if you take a look, Nabed has a class, parent class animal. Okay, and Nabed, can you align your code? Can you bring the dog class in the same alignment and the baby dog in the same alignment? Like, can you see the line number 6? Can you bring it in the same alignment?
Okay, okay.
The other one in the same alignment is. Okay, now let me explain this first. Okay, so here he has a class animal, and then inside animal he has a method. When you see it is a verb, you understand what is verb, right? Verb means do something. Noun is a name. Verb is doing. Verb is, a work, something you do. So let's say that in the method, when you see eat, bark, weep, these are all activities. These are not like, okay, it is red. Red is not an activity. Is that correct, Nipa? Is red is a activity, Nahid bhai?
No, it's not activity. Just
No, it's not a.
Right.
Noun.
So a car is red. Let's say red. Red is not an activity. Red is a, if it is not an activity, right? If it is not an activity, it is a property. It is a property. Remember, it is a property. Remember, we said in a class you have two kind of things: properties and methods. In a class, what do you have? Can you talk with me about this?
And another thing is
Properties and behavior. Properties and behavior. Behavior, we sometimes call it method. Okay. In a class, there are two things. Nazmul as well understand. In a class, there are two things: a property, some properties, and some behaviors. Some properties or some methods. Okay. If I say red, red is not a activity. Red is a property. If you say, okay, let's say we are talking about a rectangle class. So rectangle class length is activity? No, length is a attribute. So a class will have, remember, this is the core concept of object-oriented programming. Another term I'm putting here, encapsulation. All of these are very important, and in terms of interview, in terms of your understanding, all of these terms, like let's say that if you say Islam, we are Muslim, right? We have this, 5 pillars, right? In object-oriented concept, all of these terms, those I have mentioned here, right? Encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, okay? Operator overloading, method overloading, right? Overridden methods, and then abstract methods, right? All of these terms are like pillars of object-oriented programming. If you understand these terms, your interview will be good. There will be question on these terms, okay? Now, so in a class, what are we saying? There are properties and there are method. Sometimes we call method as behavior. Okay. Now, let's say animal, right? Animal. Let's say animal. If you put string name is a activity. Is it activity? Animal's name? No. It will be a property. Okay. And when you say void it, right? Void it, then it is a activity, it is a method. So in a class, you can have properties and you can have behavior or methods together. Is that correct? Properties like will be, okay, it is red, or it is its name, or its height. These are properties. Its color, okay, these are properties. So when you put methods in, when you encapsulate this properties and method together in a class, okay, when you put methods and data means properties, when you put it together in a class, that is what we are calling encapsulation. Does it make sense? What is encapsulation? When in a class you put data and behavior together. Data means the properties. When you put data and behavior together in a class, that is what we are calling encapsulation. Encapsulation. Capsule, you understand what is capsule, right? What is capsule, you tell me?
It's like in combining things together, like
Okay.
in one thing.
Okay. Nabed?
I don't understand. Like I don't know the idea to encapsulation
Okay.
or
Okay.
capsule.
Let's go to Google. Type capsule. Type capsule. Create a new browser. Create a new browser. Whatever you have, keep it. Create a new browser and type here capsule. No. Remove www. Capsule is not www.
Put the Google in.
Yeah. Capsule. Here it is Google. Type capsule. Capsule. SULE. Enter. Okay. And here, can you see images? Click on images. Okay. What do you see? Medicine. And can you see the fifth picture? Can you see inside capsule you have some small thing? Okay. You understand this. Now you understand inside capsule there are something, guys.
We know capsule is a medicine, but under the capsule is mixed up some.
Yeah,
all this
makes sense.
material.
You have something you put together and you put two part of it together and then it becomes a capsule, right? Okay. So encapsulation is something like you encap something. Encap means you mix two things together, data and behavior in a class. Like in a class you have uh, data properties like, okay, name. Let's say you have animal class, string name, and then string food, like what food it eats, and then you have, okay, um, void it. It is a method, and the other two things, string name, string food, these are attributes. So we put data and behavior together in a class, and this process where we are putting data and behavior together, that is what we are calling encapsulation. Makes sense? What is encapsulation?
Whenever class property and behavior together, that is called encapsulation.
Encapsulation. Okay. Now, Nahid bhai, are you there?
আমার ওই ল্যাপটপটা হ্যাং হয়ে গেছে জন্য আরেকটা চালু করেছি
Okay. So, are you following us?
yeah I missed little bit in between and when I'm trying to open this so,
Yeah, we are discussing few important things. I'm not going to discuss this like multiple times because we have limited time and we want to cover what we want to cover. I want to make sure that these terms, as I am mentioning again and again, is very important. So I want you to put full, like I will be expecting a document from every one of you explaining how you understood this with example. Okay, this homework, like whatever terms I have mentioned here, I would like to see examples and definitions so that you can answer it in the interview. Now, encapsulation, we have defined encapsulation. Okay, we have defined encapsulation. Now, if you take a look here, this animal class has a eat method, and then dog class has a bark method, but dog class is extending animal. So what does it mean? Dog class will have that eat method as well, since it is extending animal. So dog class has how many method? Can anyone help me? Two. One is bark, another one is from his extension. It method.
That one is encapsulation because it has one property and
Encapsulation,
both of them are property.
both of them are method. You do not have any properties in this class, right? Can you see bark is a method, it is a method. So if it and then if you go to baby dog again extends what? Dog, baby dog extends, baby dog will bark and also will weep, right? So that's why like baby dog is a dog, right? Again dog is a animal. Again baby dog is a animal. Does it make sense? Now can you see that um, animal has how many form here, at least by our definition? We have a dog animal, we have a baby dog animal. How many form we have? Animal, two forms of animal we have it here, right? Can you see dog is an animal, baby dog is a dog, and baby dog is a animal. So when you have at least is a relationship, like dog is an animal, dog is a animal, baby dog is a dog, baby dog is a animal. So baby dog has how many is a relation? How many is a relation baby dog has?
Dog and animal, both of them.
Baby dog has two is a relation. Dog has one is a relation here. So if a object has at least one is a relation, then we call this object is a polymorphic object. Does it make sense? What is polymorphism? Polymorphism, many forms. Animal can appear in many forms. Does it make sense? Animal can be a dog, animal can be a cat, animal can be a cow, animal can be a deer, a lion, right? So animal has many forms. That's why animal we are calling this is what polymorphism. And what is polymorphic objects? Each of these dog, tiger, right? Each of these is polymorphic object because dog is a animal. At least one is a relation is there. Does it make sense? What is in terms of polymorphism? And you understood already inheritance by putting that extend. Okay, can you see extend dog extends animal, right? That means whatever animal has, dog will have those. By putting this word extends animal, you are whatever attribute or behavior animal has, you are bringing everything. Does it make sense? Okay. Okay. Now let's come back to your question, Navid. What is the problem that you are facing?
No answer it, but I found to run the code something different because the class name is different from here
So
to there.
what you do? Inheritance, when you are running it, right? When you are running it, what you do? You run it in a different way. Right click on it, click on the class, and you see, in the left hand side, yeah, run as, okay. Okay, put run as, click on run as. No, in the yeah, click on here. Yeah, say run. Yeah, click on that run button. So it is still taking you there.
Is the name different? The class name animal and I put here inheritance.
No, right click on inheritance. Yeah, right click here and then say run as. Yeah, run configuration. And wait here, practice project. Can you see it is taking you to the practice project? It's one project. You say browse.
Bring this.
Yeah. OOP concept. Can you see OOP concept? Okay. yeah, there is a problem. Right click there, Ranes, and then can you see main class? Right, main class, you click on search. Over there, your main class is, what is your main class? Animal. uh, hold on, your main class here, um, uh, wait, do you have this animal here in the list? Okay, main class, int name, int, okay, okay, close this, click close, and then what do you do? Let me see, can you see there is a, in the run button there is a drop down? Click on that drop down, and then can you see your animal class here? Okay, with the main class, okay, okay, so in this case let's do this. Do you have any other project opened here? If you
Overloading one, but
Yeah.
it's like
overloading one is there, overloading one, close that overloading one for now. Yeah, close that. And do you have any other project open in the left hand side? Can you see? Okay, click on the run button again, just run button. Yeah, click on it. So now error occurred during initialization of boot layer, Java language. OOP concepts not found. Okay, OOP concept. Can you see in the OOP concept in the left hand side? Can you right click on it, the main folder? Right click on the main folder. No, not on this. You have a main folder. Go one step up. Right click here. Press refresh. Yeah, refresh.
okay, refresh.
Yeah, click on refresh. Okay. Right click on that OOP concept.
Okay.
And then let's see, run as. If you go to run as, yeah, Java application, click on Java application. Selection doesn't contain a main type. Selection doesn't contain a main type, so you have your published development. Click OK. Click OK, and then come back to your, can you see the package? Level OOP concept package. Right click on that now, in the left hand side. Yeah, package level, right click on it, and then say run as. Java application. The selection, then okay, and then go to your main class, inheritance class, right click on that, run as. Okay, it is taking you to that run as configuration. Go there. Okay, here main class, int. So here it will be, can you type OP concepts dot, no, keep that there, and here type OOP concepts package dot inheritance.
Okay, the same way I write down whatever over there.
Yeah, same way, just inheritance. Yeah, in HERITANCE. Okay, now click on run. Now error code during initialization boot layer. Boot layer, it is company root. Wait, that a little bit. Give me a second. Class. Yeah, here is the thing. So the problem here that we are facing, can you see this animal class?
The different.
No, not the name difference. If you take a look at all of these classes, there are few things missing here. Okay, now let's do this. Can you cut this animal class? Just cut the animal class. No, not that animal class, the dog class.
Okay.
Cut both of these dog class and child dog class. No, from line number 6 to line number 11. Cut everything.
Line number 6 to line number
11.
Cut.
Cut. And then now, so what we are seeing here, your animal class has started, and then remove that, and then dog, right? Can you see line number 2? Press enter here, line number 2, press enter. Okay, press tab and paste it here. What do you have? You didn't cut it. Press Ctrl Z. No, you didn't. Now you right click and cut. Remove this and then go to line number 2. Yeah, Ctrl V. Okay. Now this, no, I do not wanted it to be pasted here. Okay. Yeah. Line number 2. Yeah. Put your cursor in line number 3 and then paste it there. Okay. Now, so we have this. No, again it went inside animal method, right? I do not want it inside animal method. Oh, okay. Hold on here. Dog extends animal, and baby dog extends dog. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, this is the one. This is.
That happened when I'm working with the Eclipse. Sometimes it open and try to run, and it's come up with the one message. But when I close the Eclipse and bring the one more time, and then it's run very smoothly.
Got it.
So many problems happen with Eclipse. But the same code, when I open the same like the software, but the same problem happens sometimes.
Okay. Can you see in the left hand side? Can you see the error? There is a what is called? There is something. Can you see, what do you see there?
Concept package.
What is the error message saying?
Animal or concept package baby dog.
So it is asking to import something. Give me 1 second. So here, if we do import animal or you can say, yeah, double click on that import. Okay. Now what it is saying? If you put your cursor.
The type dog is consistent.
Okay. Let me take control. Let me type this example in my computer and then we'll go from there. Okay. It do not have to. Let me type it from my side. I think that will work. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share. First of all, let me bring my Eclipse. me know when you guys can see my screen. Okay. Okay, so let me create here. Let me create a new project. Let me name it as Java project, and I'm going to put it OP concepts project name. I'm going to finish here. If you are not speaking, you can mute. Okay, so I'm going to create a, let's say, new class, and I'm going to name it as, let's say I'm going to name it as my main class, and class name always starts with uppercase letter. I'll be including a main method here. Okay, so this is my main class. Now I'm going to create here a new class. I'll be naming it as, no, I'm going to name it as animal. Okay, the name of the class is animal. I'll be finishing it here, and inside the animal I'll be putting a okay, let's say int num of legs. Okay, int num of legs, a property. This is a property, right? I put a property, and I'll have a method. What is that method? Void it. So I'll be putting the output message here, system dot out dot println, and then over there I'll be putting something, and before that I will have a constructor here. I'll have a constructor. Remember, this is a constructor. Constructor is public, and constructor doesn't have a return type. Remember that. In the constructor, I'm going to put num of legs. By default, I'll put num of legs equal to num of legs equal to 4. So here in the it method, so in the it method, I'll say that animal x. Okay, animal x, and then I will have another method here. Beside it, I'll have a method called run, right? Animal runs with, and then I'll be putting a plus here, and then I'll put num of flags, right? And then I'll be putting another plus here, and then I'll be putting with dash flags. Okay, let's say this is a class. Okay, as you can see here, this will be an ideal example of encapsulation. In this particular class, I have a property. Can you see? This is a property. This is a property. Top of that, I have two methods, right? I have two methods. One is it, another one is run, right? When I'm putting data, properties and behavior together in a single object or in a class, then we are calling it encapsulation. I'll be sending you this link from here, right? You will see that. Let me bring this for you. Encapsulation with force, right? Where is my, If you take a look, encapsulation, right? Encapsulation, understand this, encapsulation is defined as the wrapping up of data under a single unit. It is the mechanism that binds together code and the data it manipulates. Other way to think about encapsulation, it is the protective shield that prevents the data from being accessed by the code outside the shield. Technically, encapsulation, the variables or data of a class is hidden from any other class and can be accessed only through any member function of own class in which they are declared. And encapsulation, the data in a class is hidden from other classes using the data hiding concept, which is achieved by making members or methods of class as private and the class is exposed. And so if you ask me for definition, I think there is a good definition here somewhere. Okay. The variables are declared by the get methods. Data hiding. So advantage of encapsulation, data hiding, increased flexibility, reusability, testing code is easy. So encapsulation, if you define encapsulation, wrapping up data and method together, is called encapsulation. Wrapping up data and method in a class together is encapsulation. Now if you take a look here, we have a few examples, and let me explain it in terms of this example. Let's say that this particular class, can you see, we have these three private variables, name, geek role, geek age, right? And then can you see there is a method get age where we are returning geek age, and there is a method get name where we are setting up geek name, right? So if you take a look, what does it mean, right? If you take a look here, in the main class, you have declared an object of that encapsulate class. Now without this object, can you see, with this object you can access dot set name, dot set age, dot set role, right? Whatever you are doing here, can you see all of this method where you are taking a value, putting it in that variable, without, like, you can access this method only by this object. If you do not have declared this object, will you be able to access this method? And one other advantage here, you cannot access these variables. Can you see? String geek name, int geek role, int geek age. You cannot access this variable from outside of this class without the object. So in order to access these methods, in order to access these variables, not today, okay, in order to access this, you need an object. So by that object only you can access those methods. So by this object only you can access those methods, access those data. So you have combined the data and methods together inside a class, and by declaring an object only you can access those. And if you have another class, you will not be able to access those methods by the object of the other class. Is that correct? So that is what we are calling encapsulation. Putting data and behavior together in a class, right? Together is called encapsulation. Wrapping up data and method together is called encapsulation. Now, if you come back to our example, you can extend, but without extending, like let's say if you extend this animal class with another class, then by the extended class you will be able to access these variables and these methods. But without extending you cannot, right? So that is what we're calling. If you want to access this by anything other than animal, you will not be able to access this. You will be able to access this if you extend this animal class. So that is what we are calling, we are hiding this except anything other than the object of animal. An object of animal will be able to access this, or an object of an extended class of animal will be able to access this, but without that it is hidden.
So if you had another class like dog class, and you extend to animal, then the dog class can access all the methods here, right? Okay.
There is no other way. So either you have to declare an object of this animal, or you have to have an extended class and you have to declare an object of the extended class. You have no other way to access this. So that is what we are calling encapsulation, and basically by encapsulating we are hiding the data and the method from the outside world. Okay, so let me bring this example and then it will make more sense. Okay, so let's say that we have this animal class here. Okay, now let's say I'm going to declare another object, another class here, new class, and I'm going to name this as dog class. Okay, and finish. So inside dog class, right, inside dog class, while I'm declaring dog class, I'm going to say extend animal class. Okay, extend animal class, and then we are going to create a method here, void what? Void dog barks. Okay. Dog barks, right? Here you put, let's say system dot out dot print right? So here you say all dogs bark. Okay. Now, so let's keep this up to this to understand that polymorphism, and to understand, to explain more on this what is called polymorphism inheritance. So here if you take a look, that animal is the base class, and we have extended this animal with the dogs class, right? Now dog class, what does the dog class has? it has only one it has only one behavior, or it has only one method. Does it make sense? What does the dog class has? It has only one method. Is that clear? Okay. Very good, very good. Now, animal class has an attribute. Animal class has two methods, right? Since our dog class is extending animal, that means dog is an animal. Since our dog class is extending animal, dog is an animal. So there is a relationship, and that is why the object of dog will be a polymorphing object, and then animal have a different form called dog. So animal will represent polymorphism. Okay. Now you will see I am going to declare an object here. I'm going to say dog, and then I'm going to say my dog obj equal to new dog, right? New dog. Okay, I have declared an object of my dog class. Okay, so here if you put this dog class object, and then if you put it here, okay, now if you put dog, a dot operator, can you see we have, so dog class has this bark method. Can you see we have this bark method? Okay, and then on top of that, can you see dog object can access number of legs? On top of that, can you see dog object can access the method eat, and then see a dog object can access this run method. Why? Let's say that we are going to do this, guys. I'm going to put a dog eat. I'm going to call that here, right? I'm going to call that here. If you now run it, you will see that, right? Can you see animal eats? And I called that eat method by my dog object, but inside my dog class, do I have that eat method? No, but I was able to call it by my dog object. Why? Because my dog class extends animal. Does it make sense?
What extends, it just gains access.
It gains access each and everything of animal if it is private. Remember, if it is not private. If you declare this number of legs, let's say that, come back here, and then if you put my dog object dog dot, can you see number of legs you can access it? Can you see this, right? But let's say that I'm going back here, animal, I'm going to make this number of legs private. Now if you come back, right, if you come back and put a dot, can you see the number of legs anymore here? You cannot. Can you see? You cannot. Is that correct? So like when you are extending a class, only the public and private information are extendable. Public and default information are extendable. Private information will not be extendable. Does it make sense? Okay, so what is happening here? When you made it private, that is hidden from the outside world. It can be only accessible from this method. Can you see? We are able to access number of legs from this method. Can you see? run method, we are accessing that number of legs variable. Is that correct? But from the outside world, it is hidden, isn't it? So what does that mean? That means it is hidden from outside world. It is a form of encapsulation. We have by putting this first of all, by putting this data and method together, we can only access this by the object of any, right? Without object we cannot access it. So this is a form of encapsulation, and then we have an extra layer of security. By putting it private, we have hidden it from the outside world. So let me remove this.
Sorry. So when it's public, it's not considered encapsulation.
Yeah, still it is encapsulation. It is encapsulated because you can only access it by the object of animal class or object of a extended class. Without object you cannot access it. Does it make sense, Nipa? So it needs some kind of method to access it. What method? You have to declare an object. So that is what we are calling encapsulation. Very simple definition. Keep it in that way. Wrapping up data and behavior, data and methods together in a class is called encapsulation. Wrapping up data and methods together in a class is called encapsulation. Very simple definition. You can keep it in your document. Wrapping up, WRAPPING, wrapping up data and object, data and methods together in a class is called encapsulation. Very simple definition. Have you taken note what is encapsulation? Guys?
Yeah.
Okay, if I ask you what is polymorphism, how will you define?
Polymorphism is when an object takes on multiple forms.
That is what we are calling polymorphism. Polymorphism, and as an example, let's say we have a animal class and then we have a dog class. Class extends animal class, then dog is a animal, right? Then dog is a polymorphic object. Very simple. What is polymorphism? When an object has multiple forms, that is what we are calling polymorphism. For example, let's say we have an animal class and then we have a dog class. Dog class extends animal class. Dog is an animal. Then dog object is a polymorphic object. When at least there is one is a relationship, then it is a polymorphic object. Can you write this in that way? Can you? When an object has multiple forms, then we call it polymorphism. Okay, let's say we have animal class and then we have dog class. Dog class extends animal class. Then dog is a animal. Since there is at least one is a relationship, then dog object will be a polymorphic object. That's all. What is polymorphism? Example, you are describing it with example. Is it clear? Can you explain this in that way, guys? Okay. Now, have you taken note what is polymorphism and what is polymorphic object? Have you taken note here?
Multiple forms, then we call polymorphism.
Then it is polymorphism. Let's say that we have an animal class. Let me type it here. You can put it exactly in. Okay, then inheritance. You all understand what is inheritance, right? Inheritance. When a class extends another class, then by extending that class will have all of the attributes from the parent class. That is what we are calling inheritance. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is a good source of information. There are good explanation. Let's say inheritance, right? You will see good definition and you will see good examples, right? You will see here there is a bicycle class. It has two attributes, gear and speed. It is a constructor here. Can you see? Bicycle, it is a constructor. And it has a method. Can you see? Apply brake. Speed will be minus. It has a a speed up, then speed will be increment. It has a something to a string, and then you will see that mountain bike extends bicycle. So mountain bike will have all of the things that you have defined there, will have all of this. So this is a kind of a complicated example. Instead of taking this complicated example, you take this simple example. In your testing, in your interview, what you will need, you will need a concept. You will be explaining it with simple examples. You do not have to be like super complete. You do not have to bring super complicated example. If you can explain the terms, that is what they will be looking for. You got it? If you see that in a website they have made a super complicated example, by looking at it, I am done with that. I'm going to I have thousands of sources. You go for a source where you have a simple example. In every case, do not super complicate things. Take it easy. Okay, because for your interview you do not have to be super complicated. Okay, so let's say that inheritance, we have this dog class, and from the dog class, can you see extends animal? Now the dog class, when I am declaring an object of a dog class, I can access all of the attributes, public attributes that I have in the animal class. Why? Because I have inherited. That's why. So for example, let's say your father has 5 acres of land and a car and a Toyota car. Okay, 5 acres of land and a Toyota car. So when your father is not here, by inheritance, you will have those 5 acres of land and the Toyota car. Is that correct? So that is what inheritance is. When you are inheriting an animal, by the virtue of inheritance, you are getting everything that this class has. You got it? That is what inheritance is. Okay. So you understand the concept of inheritance, polymorphism, and all of these terms that we have declared, discussed here. In terms of understanding, let me put this link here. You will be getting like on the left hand side. If you are looking for a definition or more example, you will see that overloading, overriding, right? Java multiple inheritance, super keyword. So you do not need this super keyword. You will be noting this encapsulation, right? Can you see this overloading? Can you see this overriding, right? And then only the term that I have discussed, you will need this. And this abstraction, we are going to go to abstraction. Can you see encapsulation? Okay. You will need this. Other than that, you do not have to go all of these different terms here. Do not super complicate things, as I said. Keep it easy. Okay, now so few other things, 3 things left. One is that overloading. In overloading, we have method overloading, we have operator overloading, these 2 types of overloading, and then we have abstract class. We have abstract class. Now this abstract class you will understand if you have understood inheritance clearly. Polymorphism you will understand if you have understood inheritance clearly. Okay, so this abstract class as well you will be understanding if you understand inheritance. Okay, so these three terms, inheritance, two types of overloading, overriding, we are going to discuss now. Okay, but before that I'll give you 5-7 minutes to whatever we have discussed so far to go through this to make sure your understanding is clear. Let me put this link here. Go through and come up with a question if you have. Other than that, I'm going to discuss the remaining terms. The other terms that I put that link here, I'm going to discuss the remaining terms, but I'm giving a little bit time. Whatever we have discussed, see that if you understood this, if you have question, come up with question. Other than that, I'll be discussing the remaining terms in 5-7 minutes. How does it sound, guys? Is it too much complicated? Am I making it too much complicated? Okay. Okay. So let's say now 11:58. Okay. By 12:08, we'll be starting back. But in the meantime, you take care of like this few times. If you have to drink water, drink coffee, drink it in the meantime. Okay. All right. We'll be back. I'm going to pause my recording as well. Recording, and I'm still sharing. So method overloading, what does it mean? We have very good examples here in terms of method overloading. Let me bring this example. Let me see if it makes sense to you. Okay, overloading in Java. Okay, so if you take a look here, we have a sum class. Inside the sum class, we have a method int sum, int x, int y. So this method, the name of the method is sum. It will be adding two integer type value and it will be returning that value. Can you see the return type is integer here as well? So we are returning x plus 1. Okay, the name of the method is sum. The return type is integer. It is taking two integer value, adding this two integer value, returning the result. And then we have another sum method. Here it is returning an integer same like this, but instead of 2 parameters it is taking 3 parameters. Name is same, it is taking 3 parameters, it is adding the 3 parameters, returning it. Okay, then you take a look, another sum. Can you see this is sum as well? It is returning a double and it is adding to double. Double means number with decimal point, and it is adding this two method and returning it. Now in your main method, can you see you are declaring an object of that sum class, and then you are calling s dot by this object, you are calling the sum method, and when you are giving two integer value, can you see system out println? If you put it inside that, that means it will have to return something. Does it make sense? When you put your sum, when you call a method inside sum method, inside system out println, then that method will have to have a return type. Since we have a return type, right, in each of this. Now when you are calling this sum method with two integer value, then which method will be called here?
The first one.
The first one, yeah, absolutely, because it is taking two integer value, returning an integer value. So when you are calling here, it will be calling this one. Now as you can see here, when you are calling sum method with 3 integer value, then which one it is going to call? Second one. Why second one?
Integer value.
Because we are passing 3 integer value. Hey, work with 3 integer value. Then which one is capable of working with 3 integer value? This one, right? Because it has 3 parameters. You'll be taking these 3 parameters. The 10 will be stored in x, the 20 will be stored in y, the 30 will be stored in z, and then it will be returning the sum of x, y, z. So for the second call here, it will be calling this way. Now in the third call, when you are supplying 10.2, 10.5, 20.5, which one will be called? Third one, because it has capability of receiving to double. We are passing through. Will it call the integer one? Will it call the integer one, like when you are calling it here in the third line? Will it call the integer this method, first one?
No.
Because it is, because you have a double data, right? Because you have a double data, it will be calling, because it is a double data, it will be calling what? The double. Who has the capability? Who has the capability to call? Who has the capability to call that, to take the double data? Who has the capability? The third method. Yeah, the third method. So that's why the third one will be, called. So now let me get that. So now can you see, we have a single method. We have a single method. I mean, we have 3 methods, but they have same name. The only difference is the return type and what type of data they will be receiving. Is that correct? So depending on what parameter we supply, the appropriate method will be called. Is that correct? So method overloading. Overloading allows different methods to have the same name but different signatures, where the signature can differ by the number of input parameters or type of input parameters or both. Okay, so method overloading means having a method name, having same method name but different parameters and different return type, right? Same method name with different return type and different parameters. If we have a situation like this, then we are calling it method overloading. Is it clear? Will you be able to explain method overloading in your own language now?
Yeah, I have a question. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you, let's say if you declare like it says x and y.
Mhm.
If you what if you assign x and y to a number inside the method? Can that still work?
It will still work, but remember that when you call this method, you have to supply a value. You can, inside the method, you can put a different value, but when you call, you have to give a
Okay.
good.
So, so if you have return x plus y, and inside that method you have x is equal to 15 and x is 25 or y is 25. You still have to add in the parameters in the main method.
Yeah, because if you do not add the parameters, it will not know which one to call. It knows which one to call by looking at these values here. You got it? It knows which method to call by looking at the values here. That's why you have to supply them. Okay. Next question.
Answered my question.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Okay. Any other question? Good. So this is method overloading. So I want the document that you are preparing next week. I want the definition of method overloading in your language and then examples. Okay. Is it clear what is method overloading, guys? Okay, same method
Yeah.
with different parameters and return types. It will be same name, but parameters and different, return type is different. Signature is different. Signature means what return type it has, what parameter it has. Okay. Now, let me go to the next example, which is we are calling operator overloading. Now, you have to understand what is operators, right? In Java, what is operators? Operators means minus, right? Plus, minus, and then multiplication, division, greater than, less than, right? All of these are operators. You got it? What is operators? Operators are plus, minus, greater than, less than, okay. Not, and operator, not operator. Remember those we have discussed in our previous sessions. So these are the operators. Okay. Now, what is operator overloading? So let's say that now there is a very simple example here to explain operator overloading. Okay. So if you take a look here in this particular example, right? Let me put it in that way. Let me see if this example is suitable. Okay, let me bring. I think we have a better example of this operator overloading. Let's see. Okay, let me actually write an example of operator overloading. Okay, so let me write a class here. Name this class as operator overloading. Operator overloading. I'll be having a main method as well there. Now in the operator overloading, right, let's say I have a method called void add int, okay, and then it will have, let's say, int x, int y, and then let's say system dot out dot println. Actually, x y. Okay. Then you come here. Let's say you have another method, void add string. You have string s1, string s2. Here s1, s2. Okay. Now here you declare an object will call this and 10, 25, and put it here dot this one. Okay, now if you run it, okay, now what do you see? When I'm calling add int, it is adding 10 and 25, 35. When I'm calling add a string, it is adding Zahirul and Booyah. Right? Putting it. So here that plus operator is adding to numbers. Here this plus operator is adding to string. Is that correct or not? So in line number 5, the plus operator is adding to number, right, and putting the sum. And in line number 9, the same plus operator. Is there any difference in look and feel of the plus operator? It looks like same operator. It is adding this to string. When you add to string, it cannot be 100, it cannot be 200, it cannot put okay Zahirul on top of Booyah. No, it is putting side by side, right? It is putting side by side. So the plus operator knows when you put integer data what to do. Plus operator knows when you are putting string data what to do. Is that correct? So plus operator is capable of doing two types of things. It can add to number. It can concatenate. Remember this word, concatenate. Okay. Remember this word, concatenate. It can concatenate to a string, or it can add to a string. When you add to a string, the operation is called concatenation. Okay. So plus operator know how to handle to numbers, how to handle to string. Here plus operator is working as a overloaded operator. Plus operator that is overloaded. What is operator overloading? When an operator can do multiple things, then the operator is called overloaded operator. Does it make sense? What is operator overloading?
It's just changing the data type.
When an operator can do multiple things, right? Or as an example, a plus operator can add two numbers as well as it can add two strings. Then the plus operator is a overloaded operator. Does it make sense? What is operator overloading? Very simple example. You do not have to be like, okay, you have to write a very complicated way. You have to give a very complicated example. No. Operator overloading when an operator can do more than one task. Like a plus operator, it can add two numbers as well as it can add two string. It knows how to handle two numbers, how to handle two string. So here plus is a overloaded operator. Clear, guys? Okay, that is what operator overloading is. We have learned what is method overloading. We have learned what is operator overloading. Few things like in the past we have discussed more than once. If you take a look my class recording, few things we have discussed more than once. We will not get a chance to discuss so many times. So keep this when I'm asking you, okay, what is that? If you cannot answer it, you have to revisit the video that I'm posting, because we are at the end of this course. We are doing interview preparations. All of these are for interview. All of this. If you can answer this in the way I am explaining, that will do for you. So all of this, if you cannot remember when I am asking, you have to revisit the video, because we might not have a second chance to explain this. So it is very important that you follow, because if you do not follow, I will have to be keep explaining, and at the end we do not have enough time, right? Everything is not unlimited in terms of we have a course span, right? So make sure that you take care of it. Right? Be brilliant at your basics. Know this one. Be brilliant at your basics. Whatever we are discussing, it is your responsibility to keep yourself up to date. If you cannot remember something, look that video. Okay, help yourself, because without that, like, I cannot make it happen. If I have to keep pushing you from the behind, and it is a uphill battle for me. But if you work, if you put your effort, then it is easy for me. But if I have to keep, okay, do this, and if you do not do it, it is a uphill battle. I do not have capability to fight there. I am giving you one example. What you will do, you will find similar examples, similar simple examples in the internet, so that you clear your understanding. I want this effort from you. Okay. All right. So regarding this operator overloading and method overloading, I think we have clear this. Now we will be going for that other term. Right. Two other things we have: abstract class and overridden method. These two terms is a little bit complicated. Now we are going to discuss these two terms: abstract class and overridden method. Okay. Now let's get back to that website here. Abstract class and overridden method. Now this abstract class, what is abstract class? This is a common question in the interview. They like to ask this question. Okay, and they would like to see you muffled on this. What is abstract class? You do not want to muffle on this. You want to give a clear cut answer. Okay, so let's get back and see what is defined as abstract class. Can you see abstractions in Java? So let's see what else we have. Okay, abstract classes in Java. That is what your interest is. Okay, abstract classes in Java. So if a class has at least one pure virtual function, then the class becomes abstract. It is in C++. Unlike C++, in Java, a separate keyword abstract is used to make class abstract. Okay. Now in Java, can you see, we are declaring a class here, shape. Before that, we are putting a word abstract. We are putting a word abstract. Can you see what is abstract class? If you want to answer very simply, you say, if you want to answer very simply, you say it is class that we define using abstract word. Very simple. Now, what is the abstract word? Okay. Now you come back. So let's say that an abstract function, like a pure virtual function in C++. Now, an abstract class will have abstract methods. Now, can you see? We have a method here, draw, and we have a word abstract before that. And after the method, do I have curly brackets here? So that is what an abstract class will have. A abstract method. What is the abstract method? It will have only the line. It will not have its definition in parenthesis in the curly bracket. Can you? This method is without curly bracket and it doesn't have a body. An abstract class will have an abstract method which doesn't have a body. It has only the first line of the definition. Okay, few things now to know. An abstract class is a class that will be declared with an abstract keyword which will have one or more abstract method. And the follow-up question, what is abstract method? An abstract method is a method that doesn't have the body, that doesn't have the curly bracket where you define the body. Can you see? In Bengali there is a word, shuru hote there is a song, shuru hote na hoti shesh, right? Can you see we have started it? We have started the method, but when you have semicolon, then it is done. It is done. It doesn't have a, like, when you say it has a body, that means you will have a curly bracket here. So if it is without curly bracket, then it is abstract method and it is done here. Does it? Abstract method. That is what we are going to come back. Okay. Now if you take a look in this particular method, right? Can you see if you put a semicolon here, then it is done here. There will be an error. Can you see if you put a semicolon, that means it doesn't have a body. Body, it has a body means it will start with curly bracket. There might be statement inside and it will be ending with curly bracket. That means it is not a abstract method. Sense? So what abstract method and abstract method will not have a body. It will be immediately ending after the parenthesis. It will be ending with semicolon. Does it make sense up to this? Okay, okay, very good, very good. Let me go back. Now you come back. So what is the purpose of this abstract method? So now let's say this shape method, we are this shape class, we are calling it as a abstract class, and then we have a method there. It is an abstract class because it has an abstract method. It is an abstract method because it doesn't have, it only has the definition. It doesn't have the body. Now you come here in the real world. Okay. Can you see, guys? Here I have an abstract class base, and inside the abstract class I have a abstract method fine, right? Now can you see I have a derived class which is extending that base class. Is that true? In like, let me click on run here. Okay, let me click on run here. Then you will see that we will get so it is compiling, right? Okay, so when you run, it gives you output. So let's say that, okay, let's say that, what is this edit? Okay, now you can, so can you see here in line number 6 we have a inheritance, and that the derived class is extending that base class. Is that true? Now what inside, can you see inside the derived class, can you see that abstract method that we have here, that abstract method, we are defining the abstract method. Can you see now we are putting that fun method, and we are putting the curly bracket. We are putting the body of that method inside the derived class, inside the class that is extends. So we are putting the definition, the first line of the method in the base class, and the class that is extending that class is defining the details of this fun method. Are defining the details of this fun method. The details of this fun methods are here. So that is a inheritance. The inherited class is defining the abstract method of the abstract class. You take a look here in your main method. In your main method, you, like when you are when you are creating the object of a derived method, right? It is derived constructor will be called, and here what is happening, right? Base constructor is called, and derived constructor is called, right? And then Boyd fun. Did we call this fun method? Derived fun is called. Inside derive we have a fun method, and this fun method, let me take this example basically let me take this in our Eclipse. Okay, in our Eclipse, and then we have x plus here we have our class main here. Okay, let me put it, let me create an example here. Let's name it as actually put it in that way. Actually, let me create a project here. File, project, and I'm going to name it as standard script. Java project. Next, we are going to name it as understand. Here I'm going to put it in that way. I'm going to create a package. Let's say understand package. And then I'm going to say when I see what is that example. Okay, so let's say that I am going to create a main class. Okay, let's say here I'm going to create a new class, new class, and I'm going to name it as main. I'm going to include a main method there. Okay, and with that I'm going to do all of this other code that I have. Okay, so I'm going to go there before main, all of this here, and then inside the main method I'm going to call, they have done this derive d and put it here. We'll be putting it here. Okay, let me just close this other, say, close this, say, close this, say, let me run it. Now, if you take a look here, if you take a look here, your execution starts from the main method. Is that true? Now, in the main method, you have created an object of the derived class. You have created an object of the derived class. Is that true? Now, when you have created an object of the derived class, it has printed 2 lines. Why?
It is executing
Derive and base, yeah, both method are two methods. Just one derive and extended base.
because yeah, you don't need to call abstract methods. Print it out. It just prints out because it's stated in the abstract class.
Okay, let me do this. Now, can you see? Now look this. When you have commented out this fun, what is that fun? This fun method is a abstract method in the base class. Is that true? You are saying that your derived class extend base class. Since base class is an abstract class, you must have to write the body of this fun method. If it is an abstract method, in the derived class, right, you must have to write the definition of that abstract method.
Use the abstract methods.
You have to define that abstract method, because you didn't define. Can you see, you have prematurely ended this abstract method here, is that correct? But what does it mean? If you inherit this abstract class, one of the requirement is you must have to define that. If you do not define that, it will be an error. You will see that add unimplemented methods. Can you see, there is a method that is abstract. Now you have to implement it here. If you do not implement, it will be an error. Okay? Now let's say if you remove this abstract word, then it will be a problem. If your class is not abstract, then you cannot have a method abstract. So you have to do this abstract as well. Okay? Now if it is not abstract, then you cannot put a semicolon. You have to put the body. You got it? Now can you see there is no error? Okay, very good. Now if you run it, can you see that there is no problem? Base constructor called, derived constructor called, and we have removed all of the things regarding abstract. Now what are the things that comes with abstract? Now understand this. When you have called this, when you have created an object of D, two-line printed, base constructor called, derived constructor called. Now you answer me, why is that?
Well, with it, I mean, if you run it now, then it will.
Yeah, I'm running now. When I'm running now, it is printing these two lines. Why?
Line number 14, we call independent object, and it's usually line number 7, which is printed line number 8 and line number 4.
So line number 8, yeah, why it has printed line number 8 and 4?
Inheriting the base class.
But I didn't call that derived method. I didn't call that base method. What is that, Nabed?
Oh, you don't have to call method when you're
No, just select the object, but you don't call the method. I'm saying not the method.
So how this base constructor called, derived constructor called, how is it printing? Because I didn't call this method. I didn't call this base method. Call this derived method. How it is printing?
Because it's a constructor?
Yeah, absolutely. That is what I wanted to hear. It will print because you do not have to call. It is a constructor. Can you see? Base has the same name as this. Derived has the same name. It doesn't have a return type. That means it is a constructor. When you declare object of this class, since it is derived from base class, right? Can you see both of the constructor will be called? Does it make sense? Does it make sense, guys? Why it will be called? So both of the constructor will be called because this class is inherited by this. Now let's come back to that abstract. Let's put this abstract here. Oh. Let me put this abstract this, and then make this abstract, right? And when you make this abstract, you cannot put the body. You have to remove the body. Okay, now it is abstract. Now, since it is abstract class, it is abstract method, If you extend the abstract class, you will have to define the abstract method. So you will have to take out this comment. Now there will be no complaint. There will be no complaint. So now can you see that? Can you see that you have this abstract method? You have defined this abstract method here. You have defined the abstract method here, but you kept this definition. You didn't put the details here. Instead, you put the details here. You got it? So that is.
Yeah.
That
Can you
is.
put details in the abstract void?
What is that?
Like it says abstract void fun. Can you put details in the parentheses there? No.
No, you cannot. Because you have defined it as abstract. When you have it abstract, you will write the definition in the classes where it will be inherited.
Okay.
Very simple example of what is abstract class. Abstract class will be started with abstract keyword. It will have abstract methods which will be defined later on from the inherited class. That's it. Is it?
That's when the what's the purpose of using?
Okay, okay. So what is the purpose of using? Now, if you take a look, we write this abstract method in many cases. In the beginning, when we write our code, we know, okay, this will be the method. We have situation in the beginning. We know, okay, we have to write this method. We do not know what will be details in the body of the method. So we create a framework. We create an underlying plan. What will be our methods? We do not know the details here. So we create the underlying plan, and when you know the details, then we extend and write the definition. Is it clear? Was I able to explain it? Naved, was I able to? So what I'm saying here, in big programs, this is a simple program. In big programs, there will be thousands of methods. Now, in the beginning, we know this functionality will be there, but we do not know the details. So what do? We create an underlying plan. We create a list of methods that will have to be defined in the future. In the future, when you know the details, we inherit this and we write the details. But to start the work, to keep the process going, create abstract class to outline the work. Does it make sense why we use class? Is it clear? Like, will you be able to explain it? This is a very important lecture. You will have to have capability to explain it.
Project like say we don't know the inside the body what we put inside.
What we will put inside?
Yeah, then we use abstract
Method
and keep this work
going
until we know anything go inside, then we take out the abstract method.
Once we know the details, we start implementing. That abstract method we have implemented here, the details. On that time, why we didn't implement? We didn't know the details. You got it? What the purpose of this abstract method? Nazmul, is it clear at this point?
Kind of. Like, I think you're trying to say like there are different types of actions, and we use abstract methods to define them clearly, right?
Yeah, we use abstract. Like when we are writing this abstract class, we do not know the details of the project. We know, like, from a summary. Okay, we will have this functionality. How this functionality will work, we do not know. So by abstract method, we create a list of methods that we know. Okay, in a practical project, big project, there will be thousands of functionality like this. So you keep the job going. You create different methods, and when you know the details, you start implementing them by inheriting the abstract class.
For example, I can say, let's say we have a three method like information, home, and page, but we don't know anything about the inside what we put inside. Then we just keep abstract method and keep this
So when you know the details, then we do not take off. We extend the abstract class and we write the definition.
Okay. We extend the.
So, so if you have like a animal class,
Mm-hmm.
which is the parent class, and then you have like three different subclasses like cat, dog, tiger.
Mm-hmm.
In the parent class, you have a method that makes sound, like a sound method, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the different animals make different sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just declare the parent class as an abstract method, and then
Yeah, you can put an abstract, declare the parent class as a abstract method class, and inside there, you can put a abstract method sound, and you can keep the definition for the subclasses. Like you will be creating you will be creating you a cat class, and you will be sound. In the sound you will be printing new, and you have a dog class. In the dog class, extending animal class, but their sound will be bark, go, right? You will have a cow class where you will be implementing the sound method as a what is called moo moo, right? So let me actually write an example that will make more sense. Okay, so if I come back here, right? If I come back here, let me create in another.
That class, can you add parameters?
Uh, Here you will be able to add parameters. Yeah, that is correct. You'll be able to add parameters. When you write the definition, you will have to you'll have to define it in the correct way. So I will I have explained the basics. I will ask you to write a few examples on abstract class, few basic example. I'll keep this part for you. Basically, I will like you know let's say the terms that we have discussed so far today. Let me summarize. Can you see we have discussed method overloading, definition and example. We have discussed inheritance. We have discussed polymorphism. We have discussed abstract class, example. We have done this. We have discussed operator overloading. We haven't discussed overridden methods. We have discussed encapsulation. Is that true? Whatever I have listed here, did I discuss everything? Now, can I leave the ball to you? Now you create a document. Whatever we have discussed, you include it. On top of that, you create a couple of more examples from each of the topic and you send it to me. Can I leave it in that way? I'll be sending you this recording. You create a document for your understanding. You define it. You put at least 3 examples for each of these terms. Simple example. You get it from internet and send this document to me. And then in the next class, we are going to answer any further question you have. Make sure that when I am asking, okay, explain inheritance. What is your understanding on inheritance? You are able to explain. These are interview questions. Everything that I discussed here is interview questions. We have 6 or 7 interview questions here. That's why I'm asking you prepare this and let's talk about it in the next class. What is your understanding if you can talk about it? How about this plan? Is it good with this plan? Right? And Nazmul, you since you have gone through few interviews, you know what is the importance of this understanding of these terms, right?
they always ask you about this stuff.
Right? So we have done a lot on database. We've done a lot on manual testing in terms of understanding. We have done a lot on ALM. We have done a lot. We have done a lot in terms of identifying objects, how you can handle objects, right? So this interview part, this part is important in terms of understanding, explaining. So let's make sure that you follow this and let's come back next class with questions or I will be asking you, okay, how do you do this? So at this point, let me stop this recording. And we are at the end of our class today.